Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Services Podcast Elevator. We're here with Brandon.
You guys doing?
Finally, we have this idea to be here in this podcast for a couple of weeks. Actually, you was the first person who believed in this podcast. We did it in your building.
Yes.
You guys are gonna see some of those parts in the YouTube channel that we're creating for you guys. But basically, he was the one who believed in me and this idea to start this podcast. We're showing how this city is run in the background and in the top of the buildings. And he is part of one of the biggest clubs here in New York. He is the vice president of Metropolitan.
The managers, yes.
How's everything? How are you doing today, man?
Everything's good. Doing well today. As I just mentioned, I'm a little nervous here today, which is surprising.
Really hot outside. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And how's your experience so far? Right now, this is your first year as a vice president in the club, right? In the Metro.
Yeah.
How's your experience? Tell me about what you do. Tell me about yourself.
So for Metropolitan, we do a lot more of the decision making, inputs and stuff. I have some inputs. We all come to the table with our ideas, and we try to make the club better. Try to make it a little more, more successful. As I mentioned to you before, one of my mottos is we got to do better than yesterday, even though yesterday was great. So, we're always trying to expand, explore, and grow.
And concur.
And yes, of course.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. I mean, I've been in several events so far right now.
Mm-hmm.
You guys set the standards pretty much. I'm really grateful because we're with Brisa. We're invited to those events. I've been sponsoring a couple of them.
Correct.
What plans you guys have for this year? You as president, what plans you have?
So some of it is, we like to keep it under wraps until we launch it. But
Fair.
we are coming out with our website where it's going to have a member portal where members of our associate members, also our resident managers, will have access to different companies and all of our documents and insurance and everything.
Cool. And I see you guys have invited all to the events to speak with the people, vendors, and everything.
Yeah.
I hope to be one of them
Absolutely.
really soon.
Yeah, we're going to start inviting some of our vendors to speak on like their companies, what they do, what they can provide for other buildings and our resident managers. So it'll be great, for our vendors to promote themselves.
Pretty much, yeah. And well, for our community that is seeing us right now in LinkedIn, we're growing really fast. We're seeing in the field basically that the people is watching us. Tell us, who is Brandon? What do you do? What is your building? How long you've been resident manager? Tell us about you.
So I'm Brandon. Been doing a lot of things in life. My father was in construction, so I started with him at the age of 8.
Okay.
I worked with my dad since then, and my dad, it was tough on me. Always, every summer, I had to go to work with him, which is great. As a kid, of course, we didn't like to work. We wanted to enjoy our summer, but it taught me the value of a dollar. So throughout all that, my father was a hustler. Ended up learning a lot from him. And then at the age of 17, he unfortunately got blind. So I ended up having to take over and, helping out run the house, and started hustling harder than I did before. Then with that, you learned a lot of things where it comes to like framing, electrical, plumbing, building houses, structural and everything. Did everything that my hands could touch. And then I was always into music. So, I started DJing at the age of 15. I turned a hobby and turned into a business where I have my own event company now. It's been around 8 or 9 years that the company's been up. I did take a sabbatical for a few years due to my career. So 10 years ago, I started as a handyman in a building downtown, which showed me a whole different aspect of the construction world. I used to do the outsides and everything, but then it comes to the brains, the mechanical, what runs a building. So I got into that 2015. I worked there for 5 years. My apologies, 5 years, and then my resident manager at the time gave me the push and said, "You can do this. Go get your own building," which I was grateful for, and up to this day, we're still friends. Resident manager, this is my 6 years as a resident manager.
Yes,
So since 2020, I took a sabbatical from the event company and DJing and stuff, and because the priority was my main career was the building and my job, my responsibility. I was an on-call resident manager 24/7, as I am now. Um, I've been a resident manager for 6 years. I've been part of four buildings. I've been part of three buildings as a resident manager, four buildings as in the industry. Um, Now I had the opportunity to fully open, building all by myself, brand new building. I'm currently at Morningside Heights in Manhattan, brand new condominium designed by Robert A. Stern.
So
Opened
you
it.
went through the whole renovation. You told me, right?
Yeah, so I came in probably around 75% completion, and I built it up from there. Hired the staff, um, learned the building, trained everybody. So that was one of my goals in life is to do that all by myself, and I did it. Of course, with our Metropolitan, I've had guidance and help from them. So especially some of my other colleagues.
And how long you been part of Metropolitan Group?
To be honest, I have possibly been part of it for 5 years now.
Oh,
2021,
so
yeah,
pretty much
yeah.
the whole time that you've been resident,
In or
you've
about,
been
yeah,
part
yeah.
of.
So
Oh,
of course, in order for a resident manager or somebody to be a part of these clubs, you
yeah,
either
yeah,
have to be a
definitely.
vendor or a resident manager.
I mean, because me as a vendor, I've been visiting buildings that they don't even know that these clubs exist.
Wow.
So that's why I'm asking, because some of them, for example, has been in the industry for 10 years and they know about the clubs for 2 3 years.
Yeah.
So you've been since the beginning in the
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah. So since I started as a resident manager, I think year one.
And who brought you into the clubs?
So of course, one of my good friends, Kevin, he was on LinkedIn. He found another RM, one of the presidents at the time,
All right.
Cole, and he invited us. And we didn't know anybody, anything, and we ended up joining a few different clubs,
All right.
Metropolitan, Scandinavian. We dipped our toes in each club to see where we would fit in and where we liked, and we ended up staying with a couple clubs, and now I'm part of Metropolitan. I stayed there, which was a great vibe, great energy. I love that the most about them. It's energetic, it's fun, it's somewhere to be. Not because I'm there, I'm promoting, but this is my
No, and
personal
actually,
opinion.
I'm gonna take the word, because basically the first club that I went that assist as a vendor was Metropolitan.
The smarter way to manage property services. Technology combined with our own in-house professional crew. No middlemen, no guesswork, just people you can trust. Create work orders in seconds. Painting, cleaning, repairs, done. Track everything in real time, from assignment to completion. Finally, full visibility, better decisions, and real cost control. This isn't just a service, it's your right hand. Brizacorp.com, built for property managers who expect more. Book a walkthrough or schedule a site visit today.
And I talked to you first, pretty much, right?
Yes,
So
I remember.
my whole experience started with you. The podcast started with you. So I'm really grateful because you have a really, really great energy. And I see that you're like really dedicated to the quality of the environment that you run. Basically,
thank
I
you.
went to the. You guys are gonna see the lobby. I took a couple of shoots about his place, and it's amazing. The building, the apartment that we're shooting the first podcast. You have to see it. We decided to transform this to this professional studio, but that place was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It was a nice setup there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And tell me how you manage. I mean, you tell me that you took like a year, right? But a couple of years maybe. But how you manage to do all the stuff that you do, man?
You know,
Because those meetings take time.
Yeah, so our meetings, we have monthly meetings and then we have annual meetings for the club. And then we have our events, couple of events that we have throughout the season, opposed to a year, because we start from September to June. So we call it a season. September is our starting of the season, and we talk about it throughout like our off season, right? We'll discuss, hey, here's some new ideas, here's some things I'm thinking about. You will see like all of our flyers. We try to change it up every year. It may have the same background, but we have a little thing to it, change it up, make it nice. We don't want to
Upgrading, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Everything will have to upgrade and change a little bit. Change is good. Some of our venues we try to change, which, a couple of our venues are really good. Nothing to them. We like to keep it fresh.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you were here. Were you here for the meet and greet this year?
For
The
the which?
rooftop, the
Yeah, the
rooftop.
rooftop. Yeah, yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
it was my third year doing that with the help of the club myself. We changed up everything.
Hmm.
We used to have live bands and stuff, which was great. But we changed it with the times. So now we have DJs and photographers and videographers. So it's nice. It's a good change for the club, and we're trying to go up. Opposed to staying as flat line, we'll try to go up. We'll have some downs too, but of course, here and there, you need to have some downs.
Everywhere.
Um, but yeah, so with the club and working, I manage it. I could do it. Um, and then now this entire summer, we're doing something else. My wife and I are partnering with another committee for a Caribbean carnival. And
You told me, yeah.
on top of that, we have events for that. We have meetings, weekly meetings for that. And we
That's the prestige, right?
yeah, the
That's like
prestige.
a brand that you're creating, right?
I didn't create it. I joined in. A good friend of mine, he was
Hmm.
part of it. I helped him out physically. One day I went to help him out, and he said, I like what you did. You want to join? We joined, and we're just trying to help them go in not a different direction, but help them go in a business
Adding,
direction.
adding, adding
Yeah,
value.
adding value to it. Whereas we get sponsors to pay for things, not pay for it out of pocket. Which is we're all we're doing is trying to help, never take over, because it wasn't our brand. We're
Okay.
just trying to help people out. And my wife is very creative, so she started out with the artwork and everything. Some liked it, and we started promoting, and we started getting to the marketing aspect, the business aspect, get a LLC. So we've been doing that this summer.
It's a businessman, pretty much.
I just been busy all summer. I had events to DJ for, Metropolitan work, and I was telling my wife, and I'm like, I'm not stressed out, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I don't have time to be stressed,
I mean,
or
you clearly are a man that needs like pressure in your
yeah,
life,
yes, I
right?
definitely work better under pressure, definitely. Once it's too slow, it's boring for me.
Exactly, exactly. It's happening the same. I mean, I went to your building. I saw that you have everything, pretty much everything, super under control.
Mhm.
I guess that you can achieve it with the time, with the
Sure.
team that you already built,
Hmm.
with the knowledge you have. Pretty much, you can do whatever anything that ups in the building. You
Yeah.
you know how to figure it out, solve it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That comes with trial and error. In the past, I've made mistakes. What made me better now, and which I always tell people, you need to fall in order to learn how not to fall. You need
Okay,
to learn to fall. You need to fall to learn, right?
pretty much.
So, with this building, I have a lot of things that I use from my old buildings, my past experiences, what not to do. And if you make a mistake, if you mess up, just learn from it. Don't beat yourself up.
Well, that's something I'll have to tell you. I mean, I'm not like trying to put you up, but the thing is, not all the people have that.
Sure.
Most of the people trying to burn themselves and
Hmm.
put them down, and you have that energy that put you up and
Sure,
put
sure.
the people that's around you like up.
Yeah.
So that's really great. So with all this knowledge and all this experience, what do you look in the vendors and the contractors that comes into your building? I mean, we have both aspects, like the social part
Hmm.
in the club, but now in your building, what limits you to get relationship with the vendors?
So for our vendors, one thing I tell all our vendors, part of the club, I can't guarantee you a job, but I will bring you to the table. All right, I'll bring you to the table. We'll look at the bids. We'll vet you guys. Um, there's no limits. The only thing I ask for is a good job and professionalism. I've had vendors that we allowed into our buildings, and they're workers. It could be you. You're a great person, and you have some guys that is not just crappy workers, and they will mess up the entire thing. Which
Happen all the time.
unfortunately that happened. Right? I had to tell one of the vendors, I can't have these guys work here. I can't bring you back in. Gave you a couple of chances. Unfortunately, I can't do it. So it doesn't only it's not only the owner of the company or the sales rep. It's more of the workers. If you can bring me good workers, I have no problem keeping you.
Okay.
I have people that I work with since 2015, since I started this industry, since I was in construction, and I'll bring them in. Why? Because they know my standards. So it's like, if I have a painter coming into the apartments they're doing a turn, right? When I had my rentals, when I used to run a rental, I used to tell them, I said, take off all the light switches and all the plates and all the plates, the covers, the outlet covers. Take it off and paint. I don't want to see brush marks. And it came to a point where
They know.
they know, and I used to tell the contractor, send 3 of your best guys 3 different times, and I'll tell them what I need. And so said, so done. I kept them. I brought them to my building. Hey, you know what? I know you guys know what I need. Come. All right.
Things move fast with you. Pretty much.
And, it's, everybody can be taught something, but it's all up to you to learn, right? It's all up to the person to learn. So if you're not open to criticism or knowledge, you're not going to go nowhere. You're just going to be stuck in your ways.
And you know what is super interesting? You're the third person who is sitting in this studio, and the first one who's Mark, right? Hansel, you also know him, right?
Yes.
And I'm seeing like most of the thing that is more important in the field is like the mental strength, like
Sure.
the capacity to be resilient to all the situations that can come across, and it doesn't separate you because if you're a vendor, if you're resident manager, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is like the biggest situation that you resolve in your building or in the past experiences? What would be like that moment that you say like, man, they're trying me till the best.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Pick one. The first one that comes to your head right now.
First one was, Jesus Christ. I've been through a lot of stuff in buildings.
I figure.
It had to be one of my rental buildings where when I first started let me just back up a little bit. When I first started as my first resident manager gig, it was the week before COVID lockdown.
No.
2020.
And it was your first year.
It was my first building by myself. I didn't have a resident manager, and then I didn't have
Wow.
any assistance from like plumbers or HVAC techs, electricians, because it was hard. It was hard to have somebody come in. So we had a resident said they had a leak, and in their tub it wouldn't stop flowing. So I go and somebody didn't screw in, and we call it a shower cartridge. As soon as I took off the cover plate, water just blew out.
Oh my God.
It had 150 psi of water just blown out, filled up the tub within seconds, overflowed, went down to 7 apartments.
Oh.
I had to end up going, and this is around 9 o'clock at night. I had to
Oh
end up
my
going
God.
and shutting down the entire building.
So everything that could happen go wrong. Oh my God.
And with that experience, I've had experience with different shower bodies, but at that time, it was my first building by myself, and I panicked. Right in the shower body, you may know there's 2 integral stops.
Yes.
I didn't even think to do it. I just panicked and I just went and shut down the building. And then recently, that was one of my biggest ones, right?
Okay.
To your question. And as I mentioned before, recently my past experiences helped me out. It's thunder. Yeah, one of my past experiences always helped me out. So recently I had a resident 2 o'clock in the morning, which was the night of the Metro's holiday party.
Oh my God.
That's when I was when they gave me resident manager of the year, and I had a few drinks, and 2 o'clock in the morning I get a call.
No way.
It's leaking.
Oh my God.
I go to the apartment, and the same kind of setup with the shower body, and I said, okay. And
And you went after the party.
yeah, I
Oh
went
my
home.
God.
I got home around 1 o'clock.
This
and 2
is
o'clock.
commitment. This is commitment. If you want to be the best in the game, you have to have commitment.
And it's part of the job. It's part of the job. I have to understand that. And I remember like in circle stops, so water's flowing out. It's spraying out from there. I went, got a screwdriver, pop
You
up, turned it
remember.
off, got a vacuum, cleaned up, and I said, I'll take care of it tomorrow.
Oh my
So
God.
once again, past experiences help you out.
Definitely, yeah.
So, but yeah, that was one of my biggest things for myself.
Wow. So right now, you was telling me that you guys are looking to expand like in different events with Metropolitan, creating like more connection with more vendors. The other day you told me actually we encode each other in a really random event. It was not your event, right?
No.
It was like a vendor event, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking about you guys have idea to expand, create more events. You guys, how do you see Metropolitan in 1 year after you guys have 1 year period, right?
Yeah, for what?
For the election. You're vice president?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with our current president and our past president, been really good. Our past president been really good. You know, if they keep the seat, they keep the seat. It's not a race for me. You know, I'm just there like, hey, I'm here, guys. What do you need from me? Um, so for our future events, we're trying to expand and do a lot more things where it's not as corporate, but also corporate. You know, we have to take in counter for our vendors. You know, we want to make sure our vendors are taken care of. Also, our resident managers. You know, I've been mentioning a lot about vendors, but also for our resident managers, be able to give them opportunities, give them different contacts. You know, so for
Who is the most benefit party in the events? Like the vendors from your perspective, the vendors or the residents?
well, the resident managers, between them, I think everybody benefits
Yeah.
because if you come to our event, I can introduce you to somebody. Hey, you know this guy runs a rental. You guys do turns a lot. Hey, talk to him. Right? There's a benefit. He now has an additional contact. You also have another contact, maybe another resident manager,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes on. It's all word of mouth. So I would say everybody, you know, gets
Needs to
something.
bring something to the table. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. Because yeah, I'm seeing like in some of the other groups, I don't know why it happens that it's a lot of vendors, not that much residents. But in
Mhm.
yours, I seen that it's more resident than
Resident managers. Yeah. So
you guys select more or
no, we
make
don't select.
curation or
We
what?
welcome everybody.
Welcome everybody,
We
right?
welcome anybody, everybody. You know, we would love to have a lot more resident managers so they can benefit from our vendors, from our projects, from our events. You know, we think it'll be really good, a good networking thing for them. You know, our stuff is just a network. You know,
Exactly.
it's we also like to have a good time. You know, like we're not just asking you for your time to come out and just work, work, work. It's like an after hour thing for us, right? Happy hour. You come by, you know, you get your drinks, get some food, meets people, you know, hear us talk for a little bit. You know, we just mingle.
I've seen different resident managers from different management companies. They're asking me like what it takes to go to these clubs to be part of it. So tell what it takes to be part of Metro right now to the people who is seeing us on the
So
screen.
for somebody to become a member, we require them to come to 3 meetings, 3 consistent meetings, and then they can opt in to be a member. With the membership, you get access to our vendors. Like I said, we're coming out with the website where we're going to have all of our associate members, people that that sign up with us. You guys will be on the website, also with the resident managers. So you get that benefit of the network, and then additionally um, you get a life insurance, $100,000 life insurance for a set price a year. So possibly I think around 300 to 400 bucks membership fee. Then you just come by, you hang out, you meet people, have a good time. We also have
Definitely a good time. Yeah.
our meet and greet is where we have the property managers come in. You know, that's just a big deal. You know, get with the right property management or the right property manager. You know, they can always help you out in life. And then we have our golf outing, which is one of our biggest events. You know, we spend a whole day golfing, which I don't golf, but I started golfing with these guys, and I just go for the hangout. It's a great time. You know, if you go with somebody, you just drive around, hit a few balls, and you just smoke some cigars and have a couple of drinks throughout the day. It's a nice event. You know, it's a nice thing to get away, get out of work.
Definitely.
You
Yeah.
know, so we try to give people that peace too. So that's the benefit of joining Metro.
And we were talking about the money that you guys collect. This goes everything to the charity.
Yeah.
You're
So
very really involved into the charity.
yeah, absolutely. Most of the clubs, I wouldn't say just us, but most of our clubs, in the industry, do a lot of things for charity. We have a casino night coming up in October, which all the proceeds go to St. Jude's, and then we have our holiday party. We also have a children's holiday party. We have Santa, and we buy gifts. So let's say if you're a member and you have kids, you bring the kids for free. We buy gifts. We ask you to register, and we see a boy or girl, we'll go buy gifts. And we have Santa, give out the gifts, which is awesome. Last year was my first time going, and as a kid growing up, seeing Santa Claus and getting gifts, it was emotional. I was like, wow, this is nice. This is real nice. I think for the holiday party, um, we ask everybody that's coming to bring a unwrapped gift, and then we then take it to the
Interesting.
Ronald McDonald House, and last year we had around 10 big bags of toys.
Okay.
We line it up. We can't go give it to the kids. As the same at Ronald McDonald House, kids are not as healthy as us, so we can't go give it to them. But we put it under the tree in the lobby, and we take a picture. And it's the managers or the people at work. It's like, wow, this is so much, and it was a great feeling. It was my second time doing it with them, and I was like, Andre, it's a real nice feeling to do this.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's just to be part of it, not to be that involved. It creates like that responsibility to say like, hey, what I'm doing, it matters. It's not
Yeah.
like just going out and drinking and just
Absolutely.
hanging around. That's really cool. And with all the people that you've been meeting in these 5 years, what do you think is that what people look into these clubs besides the networking? Obviously, because that's like the biggest like perk to be part of
Yeah.
this, right? But what do you think with all the people that you know, your friends, your colleagues? What do you think they're looking for?
Well, I'd ask you that. What are you looking for?
No, they're from the resident managers.
Oh,
I'm
from the
talking about
resident
yeah,
managers.
yeah,
Oh, I thought you meant like everybody. I mean, but I'd say a good time. Like I said, a break from work. We try to give that notation of as a break from work. You still talk about work, but it's not hard. It's not like work, work, work.
Like
Hey,
we're not demanding from you. We're giving
exactly,
you.
exactly. And as I mentioned, we can't promise jobs, but we can bring you guys to the table. But like I said, we try to allow everybody to have a good time.
You know what is funny? Because me visiting the buildings like in the actual field, I seen all the resident managers are super stressed, super like tied up. Then they go even that we go with suits and ties and everything to the events. They're like well more chill, like
Yeah, relax.
actually having a conversation or like just responding some requests or inquire. So it's really good for us as vendor because mostly all the people goes there to the building and they're busy. They're already in a headache. They have bunch of stuff going on.
Sure.
These places open the place to
Yeah.
open the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, we always, a lot of our vendors are super nice too. They don't just throw their business out there. That's how you doing first.
In
How's
the
everything?
community, you guys think you have like way to communicate between them between each others and say this is not a good vendor or you guys do that or
No,
if
we'll
you're
we'll never bad talk a vendor.
no in case if you realize that somebody is like
Well, we'll talk to the vendor himself. All right. If
oh nice
I wouldn't go and say, you know what, don't use him, don't use them. I'll say, I'll go talk to the vendor myself. I'll say, you know what, you guys got to fix some stuff. It's not looking good. Be honest. I don't like me personally, I don't like the chain of command, the game of telephone. I tell you, you tell them, and it becomes a whole different thing of what I said. So I'd
okay
rather go straight to you, like I told you with that other vendor that his guys were bad. I went straight to him. Hey, listen, your guys messed up. So I think that's the right thing to do, opposed to going talking stuff behind people's back.
definitely
And stopping business. Yeah, I may had a bad experience with them. You may not, right? So we don't know.
that's important to know
They could send one bad worker by me. You could send the greatest one by them. And I just told everybody that they're not good. I'm not going to do that. I'll speak to owner themselves or the person I met, or that introduced me to the company. Hey, listen, so and so, we need to change some stuff. We need to fix some stuff. Or send me a different guy. Send me a different worker, right? Which is, it's not about breaking it down. If something broke, let's try to fix it.
exactly yeah
Yeah, and if
most
you-
of the people don't talk that in the right way but
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking because yeah definitely you feel in the room who is like more affiliated with somebody and then you have to build that relationship pretty
Sure,
much from
sure.
scratch and people who is like trying to get into these clubs are wondering like what can I find there like even the vendors I mean from my side I'm really happy to have you here because I have a vendor I have already another company talking from our perspective but now from you is like what you guys are looking for in these groups if you're open to start a conversation with vendors to make some contracts because most of the people think is just drink and go and chill and waste time
Yeah, that's once again, all of our vendors they understand and like all resident managers, we'll go and just start talking and it becomes opposed to just work. We build relationships as you mentioned. Like me and you, we're on Instagram. We'll send each other some reels, right?
Pretty much,
And
pretty much.
that's a relationship right there. and we'll just talk and chat. We'll, like the other day when we met up at the building, at the rooftop
And
event.
actually, I did a connection that day.
Yeah. So
Actually, yeah.
So it's like that. Like, hey, come upstairs. I was new to that company. So hey, come upstairs. Hung out. That's what we do. We try to build these additional relationships.
And this is New York. Everything
Yeah.
happened here.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I was when I start going into these meetings, because for me this is not my core of business,
Sure.
right? But when I start going with Brisa Corp to these places, I said like, wow, this is a really good place to actually meet interesting people, because it's not like empty people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'm learning how these cities run. You always take pictures of the high rises in the skyline, so you get in love with the city.
Yeah.
But now that you understand how it works, what it demands to actually function, is really interesting.
Yeah, it's I always wanted to start a YouTube channel, something called The Heart of the Building. I have the YouTube channel already.
The heart of the building, that's a good one.
So it's like kind of do walkthroughs in buildings, but is some legality stuff behind it. You can't show a lot of things, so I didn't ever go through with it. But that was something I always wanted to do, is just show everybody how the buildings work. Like my building, I love to see it. Like I'll walk into my mechanical room, like wow. Even though I've been here all this time, I was like, yeah, this is super cool.
Tell me what is the part you most love from your work?
My job, I don't know. It's learning.
Everything.
I like learning. And that's one reason I love to open buildings. I learn new things. It's a challenge. I just love learning. So
Also, you told me, I'm gonna remind you, because you told me that the first time that we did this interview about your team, that you was like
The what?
working to get the team together. That one of the most important things for you was like build the correct team.
So for my staff,
Yeah.
yeah. So I went through probably about 100 different resumes in a week's time, and I end up choosing the 11 guys I have. Um, they're not my original 11, but there's of course some people that left, some people that didn't work out. But I definitely want to have some guys that understood what I needed and what the building deserved, right? Always tell my guys, if we don't look good, the building doesn't look good. Stand up proper, dress good. Always try to get them good quality stuff, good suits, every tool that they need. If it's gonna make your job easier and better, sure, let's get it. I try to be a leader opposed to a boss. Everybody, it's some of my guys like, oh, you're the boss. I'm not your boss. I'm your supervisor, and I'm in the front line with you. I'm not behind you. I'm on the front line.
I mean, a lot of people say it, but they don't have the energy. You have the energy.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were in your staff, I would say like, okay, I can talk with this guy. No,
Yeah.
no, doesn't happen that much.
Yeah. So with us, like my handyman is if he has an issue, yeah, I can't figure something out. Call me. I'll come up. I've been there. Like there's no issue for me not to work. If there's a leaking ceiling, okay, let's get together. Let's work on this. Let's figure it out. But I try to be a team player, and I try to show them that too. So it's like it's that energy people feed off of. If I'm just sit back lazy, you do this, you do that, and I start delegating, it's like you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
But if I say, you know what, how does this work? Let's work together. Let's figure it out.
That's as you said, delegating without leadership, right?
Yeah.
That's the killer
So,
of any
yeah,
business. Yeah, definitely.
There's the mentality of a boss, and then there's a leader. I try to be a leader. So I lead my guys, into a good place. I always tell them, I say, listen, if you want to learn, if you want to get to the point where I'm at, I'll teach you. I have no problem. If you end up leaving, I have no problem with you leaving. As long as I know you're leaving for the better.
How many people you have in the staff right now?
11.
11.
Yeah, I have 11 staff. It's a small staff, but it's still people to manage.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I say more than 10 is already a medium size.
Yeah, no, it's a good sized team. My guys are good. We have, of course, every building, every company, there's some ups and downs, but it makes us stronger. It shows the good and the bad side of us, and it makes us respect each other more and learn from each other. Right? I don't know them from only 3 years now. I know them. I'm still learning them. I know friends for 20 years. I still don't know them fully. Right?
Yeah,
Family
happens.
members.
Happens.
So
Yeah.
we try.
You're with your wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you live with them all the time. You just don't know certain things.
learning,
Something
yeah.
new pops up. So it definitely is, it's a learning curve.
Great. And let's wrap it up this interview, saying or asking you, what do you think is like the most valuable thing that as a vendor I need to approach these clubs meaning my company should have like these minimum standards to get into these clubs and be profitable in these clubs or successful?
Listen, for you guys, for anybody, any vendor, just be who you are, right? Just as you come, as you are, you're a genuine person. You know, like I said, once you give off that energy, people want to work with you. So that's the only thing. There's nothing of like, you have
So you don't
to.
have to be afraid. Just
No, just
walk
go
in.
there, walk in with a bit of confidence. Even if you're afraid, that's good. Because people are like, okay, being scared is not a bad thing. It's a
Yeah.
good thing. If you go in
Actually,
there
yeah.
overconfident, nobody's
That,
gonna want to mess
that's
with you. But if you come in there humble and
that's a good
respectful,
perspective, you know?
absolutely. You come in there scared, that's fine. And that's how we start. That's how me and my friend Kevin started out. We went into the clubs, didn't know anybody, and one of the clubs and one of the first guys that came and spoke to us was Tashi, my current president. He was the first one. Hey, how you doing? I'm Tashi. What's your name? Where's the manager? Here, where? So and so. Oh, let me introduce you to this guy. Let me introduce you. And that's how it starts. But, come in there. If you don't know anybody, come in and ask. Hey, or just introduce yourself. I'm Andreas. I'm with Brizacorp. Hey, I'm Brandon. I'm a resident manager. What do you do? Oh, so we get to talk. You know what? I can use
I
you.
mean, I will say it's intimidating. Even for me, that I think I'm not that shy, it's intimidating,
Of
obviously.
course.
But yeah, it's like to set up the standards to all these people coming in, because obviously you guys have like a protocol and to way to approach this event. So I want to encourage like all the vendors, all the companies that are out there to come into these events, to these meets, and show whatever you guys have, whatever you do. These clubs are really nice, really cool. This guy, like he and all of them, all the resident managers who are there willing to uh, introduce to another people and show whatever you're doing and see you good. So
Absolutely. We also welcome all resident managers, property managers. You guys come to the clubs, meet us. Definitely help you guys go on the right path. I don't compete with nobody but myself.
And I thought that when I started this podcast, I was gonna have like more vendors, like viewers, but there is more handymans and resident managers.
Sure, sure.
I'm getting into the building saying like, "Hey, I know you were," and I said like, and then start saying like, "Ah, I see you in a podcast." Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's good to know. These kind of things, these kind of conversations help out other people a lot. You get to know us, get to know you, get to know the clubs.
Yeah,
And
definitely. I'm super right now. My focus is to open this conversation to the people who don't know about these clubs.
Sure,
Because
absolutely,
as
absolutely.
you guys seeing this, it's really helpful.
Yeah.
I've been more interested in grow my community because of the
Yeah.
clubs.
Absolutely. Like I said, anybody that wants to come in, resident managers, give us a holler. Let Andreas know. He'll introduce you to us. You guys come by. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Come by. It's a cool thing. It's like I said. I'm not saying it because you don't even have to come to our club. You can go to other clubs. I have no
To
problem.
all of them,
Yeah,
pretty
go to
much.
all of them. Test the waters. See which one fits best for you. You don't have to come to ours. You don't have to like ours. If you don't like it, that's fine. Listen, best if you need help, we're still here to help, right? So, and that's one more thing you get with us is help. If you say, "Hey, Brian, I need help,"
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
we have questions. Like, we have a lot of experienced guys that's been part of 32BJ, that's been part of buildings, that's been in it for years, and they'll help you with experience. We have no problem sharing knowledge. Like I said, with our community committee, I asked them, "Hey, what's going on with 32BJ? Anybody get the raise?" So and so, we talk about it, we discuss it. You know what? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Maybe it's taking this long. So we always have advice. We always try to help each other out.
That's
Even
super
like
cool.
sometimes, like, with the major floods that we've been having, we'll call each other. I need some more vacuums. Come by. Did you flood? Yeah, I did. I need help. We try to help each other. Right.
That's cool. That's really cool. So you guys can miss out these meetings. I'm gonna link up in the description in this video all the information of Random and the Metropolitan, and also I'm gonna tag your the Prestige. Right?
Thank you, thank you, thank
We're gonna post the whole thing, all the tags of this event that these guys is doing. It's incredible. Believe me, I've been so interested to go into these events. Thank you so much, Brandon,
Thank you
for
for having
being
me.
here.
Appreciate it.
Really, thank you so much for this. And this is another chapter from the services elevator, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Please comment who you want to see in the next episodes, and hoping to bring all the perspective from this city